Hello everyone, Andrew from 8bboc here, and if you're watching this video on my channel, I have an awesome co-host doing this prediction video with me. And if you are watching this on my co-host channel, hello again, I'm Andrew from 8bboc. Today, we are going over our predictions for what EXs and breaks we believe might appear in the upcoming set, Rage of the Broken Sky. So I will now hush and let my co-host do some talking.
How's it going, YouTube? This is WakeRunCollapse joining 8bboc for this super special project. Because of my incredible lack of technology, we did all of the scripting and predictions for this video through Twitter DMs. We might as well just use the Pony Express. But I'm really happy with how this turned out, so if you're excited to hear our predictions, make sure to hit the thumbs up button down below to show your support. As always, there are a ridiculous amount of potential EX cards out there. It's difficult to narrow down what typing we feel will be represented in each upcoming set, let alone which Pokemon will actually make the cut. They also included the official reveal of Manaphy EX while we were in the process of making this video. And this is the part of the video where we ignore that and continue to be in a good mood. Now, I'm just kidding, we're still excited about Manaphy EX. We're just going to account for one more potential EX slot in the set and continue with our predictions as planned. First, we'll list our main EX choices for what we think will actually be in the set, then our alternates as strong but not necessarily top-line candidates. Our break predictions, those will follow later.
Being the most surprising, but definitely still possible, I really feel it's time for a Yanmega EX. In recent years, Yanmega really hasn't seen too much love in the TCG. Sure, he got a card in Phantom Forces and one in Dragons Exalted, but they didn't really do him any justice. The last time we truly saw Yanmega in his prime was, well, when he was Yanmega Prime, which was all the way back in Heart Gold Soul Silver Triumphant 5 years ago. And with the recent reprint of Judge, I think an updated version of Yanmega Prime could really shake up the TCG again. But even if he's just another mediocre EX, it'll be nice to see a once top tier, now underdog Pokemon in the limelight again.
Yeah, awesome puns notwithstanding, Yanmega would really make for a terrific choice. XY9 could make for a triumphant comeback for bug Pokemon if Yanmega joined Scizor in the set, especially because their designs couldn't possibly be more different. After all, variety is the spice of life. You take a metal-type bug with tremendous power and add a grass-type bug that looks like a thousand-eyed Bissell. The thought of another set with White Kyurem EX and Black Kyurem EX really makes me retch in comparison to this great possibility.
Though he might be a reused legendary for an EX, which I'm sure a lot of us are tired of, Zapdos never really got the good EX treatment. In Japan, he was a part of the Black Kyurem EX Battle Strength deck, meaning he never got the full art treatment, which is a big complaint of mine when it comes to EX decks and promo EXs and just as a collector in general. On top of that, the card wasn't even good competitively. The artwork was nice, but I feel this time around they could do him some justice with decent attacks, a nice full art to show off this legendary bird's majesty, and if Pokemon do that, I just might not complain about legendary reprints as much anymore.
Definitely in agreement here. As one of the original legendaries, Zapdos has definitely gotten an unfair shake. It's already basically cannon fodder for a lot of the other legendaries in the video games, so it's only right to give it some power in the TCG and make some other Pokemon its Zap cannon fodder. It's a great chance to at least bury the idea of another Thundurus EX for just one more set. With all the reprinted EX cards floating around, how have we gone so long without another Darkrai EX? The card was massively popular from the get-go, and it featured a woefully underrepresented type among legendary Pokemon, who were the only monsters getting EXs at the time. They have since opened things up to include great choices like Krookodile and Sharpedo and Absol, but somehow Darkrai just got lost in the shuffle. It technically did receive a non-EX full art print, but that didn't appear in the set in either English or Japanese. If anything, it's been cursed by the fact that it was so playable, so it's been reprinted multiple times in both languages. If Tornadus can get printed 1,000 times, the least they can do is refresh Darkrai with a new EX and give us, and the fans, something to smile about.
Completely agree. Like a child star, Darkrai's print from Dark Explorers was doomed to be playing the same role forever. At the time, Darkrai EX was one of the biggest, if not the biggest decks played in the TCG. But as time went on and cards became more powerful, Darkrai was simply just a tech card for more powerful EXs, which is really such a shame. But even being reduced to a tech card wasn't enough of a reason for Pokemon to give him a new cloak to wear, as they reprinted him 2 more times as a promo and in Legendary Treasures. Another point to make is back when his first print came out, Pokemon had just begun experimenting with full art cards. Not saying they didn't look amazing, but the quality has seriously stepped up since then, and now would be a perfect time to introduce a new powerful Darkrai EX and a new amazing full art to go along with it.
Believe me, I'm as tired of constantly reprinted EXs as anybody else. That's why I think Druddigon would make for a tremendous selection. Druddigon consistently makes the cut in sets, but is yet to vault past holographic status. Dragon-type, in contrast to Dark-type, has been so dense with legendary Pokemon, and with their long-standing strategy to print basically every legendary dragon as an EX, there isn't a whole lot left to choose from. Druddigon's distinctive design is just begging to break through the borders of a normal card, and with basically every other EX of this type coming from a statistical beast, we could really use a change of pace from the heavy onslaught and breathe a dragon breath of life into the typing. Wait, I'm sorry, what's that? Druddigon doesn't learn Dragon Breath in the games? What is this world coming to?
You know, that is a strange one. Doesn't learn Dragon Breath, hasn't gotten an EX yet. You know, there are a lot of strange things when it comes to Druddigon, and the latter being a very strong point. I feel Druddigon was one of the more popular Pokemon of the 5th generation, so I have no clue why Pokemon wouldn't want to milk that. But there's no use on focusing on the past, but what we can look forward to is the future. A future where we have a Druddigon EX in it. Is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? It can really be either for all I care, but what I do care about is that it happens, and I think now might be the time for that. And now getting into our alternate choices for the EXs. As WakeRunCollapse said, these guys were very strong choices, but didn't quite have what it takes to trump our main picks. But it would go without saying that these guys don't have the potential in case none of our main picks get chosen, as to why they're our alternate choices rather than honorable mentions.
The final evolutions of the 2nd gen starters have been severely neglected. Meganium's last card was in the Heart Gold Soul Silver era. Typhlosion and Feraligatr had befallen the same fate until only recently, as they've each gotten hollows in X and Y sets. So giving Meganium the EX treatment would be a great way to make up for it, while also acting as a catalyst to bring the other 2 along as eventual EX cards as well. Most of the other grass starters have been treated like kings and queens, so leveling the playing field would be a great way to show appreciation for the 2nd generation.
Now by the end of this, you'll be able to tell that I'm a little biased for the underdogs. Although it's not just due to favoritism, as I try to envision what Pokemon would best fit the theme of a set. And though Zebstrika EX did not quite make the main list, he's definitely second in line if Zapdos doesn't make the cut. As with some others on the list, Zebstrika is an underappreciated Pokemon that could really shine with the EX treatment. He hasn't really been touched on a lot in the TCG, so it would really give Pokemon a chance to wow us with a choice that you wouldn't expect and some fantastic artwork to go along with it.
Despite not having a primary dark type, 2 out of 3 cards featuring Pangoro have been of the Darkness Persuasion. With a lot of the current dark types looking less and less like double rare candidates, I highly doubt we see a Mandibuzz EX or a Scrafty EX before this bruising brawler receives the same treatment. It's been poised for a jump to the next level for a little while now, and with a lot of our main choices lacking this type of physical presence, Pangoro could potentially get teched into the set.
Though the situation with the legendary beasts is bad, with Suicune always getting the short end of the stick, the legendary golems is an odd situation itself, with Regigigas and Registeel being the only ones to ever get EXs. Although we did just get all 3 original golems recently in Ancient Origins, I don't see there being a big issue with Regirock getting another card. And he just fits so well with the set based off the name, Anger of the Broken Heavens. It just feels so right, and it would be great to have one of the other golems get some spotlight for once. Sorry, Regice, if the set wasn't so water-oriented already, perhaps you could have been an alternate candidate.
It should be no surprise that Goodra would appear somewhere on our list. Goodra has been highly touted and revered by fans ever since being revealed as part of the X and Y gang. In fact, it has actually gone without an EX for much longer than I'd expected. As it could very well have gotten the EX promo treatment in the last year or so, I do think that the fact that it was printed so recently hurts its chances, but a fan favorite like Gudra is more of an eventuality when it comes to taking that next step into EXdom. Phew, that was excellent fun. But it's not a complete video at this stage in the TCG without offering our best guesses on future break cards. Though the elimination of all possible basic Pokemon from this pool is a welcome sight, the variety that the break mechanic has seen so far may make the construction of this list even more difficult. It's like a weird game of roulette where they can drop basically any Pokemon on us at any time. However, I'm very happy with our list, so now we're going to throw our best choices out there. Make sure you jump into the comment section below and let us know what you think at the end of this video.
Choosing the Fire-type break was a pretty difficult choice, as there were so many Pokemon that could fit the bill, but ultimately we went with the fan favorite Arcanine. For being such a favorite among many Pokemon fanatics, it's odd how poorly he's been treated. Up until the Emboar EX half-deck, Arcanine hadn't received a card since Next Destinies almost 4 years ago. Now I know I shouldn't complain about a popular Pokemon not getting many cards, as the TCG has already been oversaturated with the likes of Talonflame, but this is just not right. Hopefully a coat of gold will do some justice for man's best friend.
And oh, what a coat of gold that would be. Arcanine's beautiful design would result in a classic break card that could really bring some legitimacy to the power of break cards in general as collectibles. I love that they've chosen fringe candidates for these cards from the very beginning, but as cool as Behem and Marowak look with the special treatment, I think a few more recognizable, centralized selections like Arcanine might help the breaks compare more favorably to EXs. Not a lot of Metal-type Pokemon would look great in gold. Andrew and I were discussing the slim pickings when it comes to this typing, as there are a lot of basics that couldn't make the list anyway. While Bisharp would look pretty sweet as a break card, it's too close in design to Scizor and might look like a rejected double rare, so we're hoping it's eventually released in another set. Klinklang stands out as a result. It's received a strong amount of play in previous iterations of the card, plus it's got a unique design that would suit this card style pretty well. It could be a good opportunity to throw a wrench into Klinklang, so to speak, by reintroducing it into the current format as a card that really takes work to get out.
I'm right with you on that. Two variants of Klinklang were actually pretty good tech cards: Black and White base set with shift gear that allowed you to move metal energy between Pokemon as often as you like during your turn, and Plasma Storm with Plasma Steel that prevented all damage done to your metal type Pokemon done by Pokemon EX. I don't believe the first one saw too much play, as there really wasn't anything good to play to make it worthwhile, and while Plasma Storm's Klinklang saw play for a little bit, it didn't really hold strong, which is really a shame since it was a really good ability. And though it may be a Stage 2 break, I really think Klinklang break could bring some real interesting play to the format and maybe make metal decks more viable again. And lastly, here's our alternate break choices. Picking these were actually pretty difficult. We were pretty much 100% synced in agreement with our EX choices, as Pokemon can be a tad predictable, as favoritism seems to play a major role in EX choices, with a few random choices here and there. Looking at you, Manaphy. But breaks are just the opposite in that they're not predictable, at least not yet, since they seem to be giving love for some underdog Pokemon. So choosing between our main and alternate choices was a tad lengthier in comparison, but regardless, we got them picked out, and here they are. As I said, choosing a Fire-type break was really hard, which is why we have two on our alternate list, Darmanitan being one of them. There's no gigantic reason for him being on the list other than he'd look amazing in gold, his angry looking self would fit well with the theme for this set, and he's been underappreciated straight from the get-go. His normal form has only been printed in the TCG 3 times, the same number of times as Talonflame, and none of them are even good. The most decent one is Darmanitan Zen form, and naturally that was a Psychic type. One of the things that I really like about breaks is that it gives the guys over in the TCG lab to give some underappreciated Pokemon a shot at being more than just another uncommon. And if Arcanine doesn't make the cut, I think Darmanitan would be a really nice choice.
In keeping with the theme of showing the starters a little TLC, Infernape would make for a solid alternate choice. With all its dynamic poses, not unlike what Greninja brings to the table, the artwork choices would be endless, really. Infernape has also been kicked to the curb since the Plasma series, which is surprising because of how much love it received when it was first introduced in Gen 4. It'd be nice to see what they could do with Infernape as part of the new break mechanic.
Lastly, our alternate choice for the metal typing is Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn has really been treated weirdly over the years. It's bad enough he's only had 2 cards to his name, but they didn't even know what to do with them in English. His first card was in the Japanese White Collection set, half of Black and White base set, and the second being Psycho Drive, half of Next Destinies. But they decided to lump both of these cards in the English exclusive set Emerging Powers, which came out after Black and White, but a while before Next Destinies. I can't explain why they would do this, as he's not a disliked Pokemon. In fact, he's in the overused tier on Smogon because of how good he is. That being said, if Kling Kling doesn't make the cut, and since there really aren't many metal-type Pokemon to choose from that would look good in gold, I think it would be great for Pokemon to show this Pokemon some well-deserved respect. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're watching this video on my channel, please be sure to go check out WakeRunCollapse if you haven't already. He is a full-fledged Japanese collector, meaning all the sets we wait for, he gets 2 months prior. He also recently started pumping out daily content, which includes amazing openings and top X lists. If that wasn't enough incentive, he's also just a genuinely entertaining guy, and from the first video you watch, you'll be hooked, as you can tell he really cares about the content he makes. You can also follow him on Twitter at WakeRunCollapse for some laughs, some teasers to his future content, and almost always for the live tweeting frenzy that goes on the night a set is released in Japan. Also, if you're watching on WakeRunCollapse's channel, and if you'd like to check out some of my content, that'd be pretty awesome, as I do English openings, the occasional Japanese openings, and then news for all stuff Pokemon, whether it's only for Japan or for everyone. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is at @bbocwerdna. And I think that pretty much wraps all of this up.
Yep, that's gonna do it for us. If you're watching on my channel, please make sure you subscribe to Andrew/8bitbok on YouTube. He has fabulous and insightful content, plus some sweet openings and news about the TCG to keep you all informed on the latest stuff. Follow him on Twitter as well because he's hilarious. If you found this video from his channel, and you like Japanese cards and openings, you can also find me as WakeRunCollapse on YouTube and Twitter. I've already tricked 10,000 people into subscribing to my channel, so you might as well follow the pack. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to 8bitbok for helping me out with this video. Drop a train on that like button if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you again soon.